Welcome to the Tony the Prophet channel for week 7. I want to talk about last week before we get going. First of all, I'm out of town this weekend, but I still wanted to get this done, so it's later than usual. It's in the evening here. Anyway, it's after 10 o'clock, but I want to get this out. And here we go. I wanted to say a word about last week. I was robbed with the Washington game. They had 2 turnovers in the red zone, and they still could have won it in the end. On the play that Chicago Swift scored a touchdown, the play clock was at 0. You could see it on TV. They never called it, and then Washington forgot how to tackle. 3-4 guys had a chance at Swift. He should have been tackled for 15, 20 yards, regardless if the play they should have counted or not. And they let him score a touchdown. They let him walk in. These guys couldn't tackle. And they still had a chance to go ahead and cover. They were driving 2 minutes less. I remember exactly the time in the clock. There wasn't much, but there's plenty of time. And they fumble a handoff on 3rd and 1. It should have been an easy first down. And they gave the game away. And we finally learned that Chicago with Ben Johnson is definitely getting some improvements there. But a lot of the schematics on Caleb Williams, some of his metrics are still not very good, even though he won. So first target read and all this stuff that you look at, he's still at the bottom of the league in a lot of metrics. So we got screwed there, but we move on to this week. And the first game, I like Cleveland minus 2.5. The weather's going to be brutal, 40-mile-an-hour winds. I bet the under. It was like 39.5. I got it on the slide down. It's 35.5. I got it at 37. And also what I did, I teased it with the Dallas game with Washington. Should be points aplenty. There's no defense in that game. 54.5. I thought that could be a little too high, even though they'll probably go over. So I took that down to 48.5, and I raised this one because I did it recently. It would be at the 35, so you raise it up to 41.5. So I think that should be enough. That's just a side note. Miami's offense is terrible. 23rd in pass yards, 28th in rush yards, 32nd on time on the field, 32nd in the number of plays in the game, 54. Most teams are in the mid-60s. And so conversely, look at the Cleveland defense, okay? And they played tremendously better at home, where they beat the Packers, and they had a good showing in the other 2 games. 7th versus the pass, 3rd versus the run. Goodbye, what's his name? Achane. Goodbye, okay. 4th in the number of plays given up per game at 56. So this other team's at 54 and it's 56. They're not going to be scoring many points. And 4ths in yards per play allowed 4.66 yards. Anything under 5 is tremendous. McDaniel is dead man walking. You got a brutal game, not a lot of points. Cleveland defense being good, and Judkins, his prop is like 95.5 yards. I'm taking the over. He's going to run for over 100 yards in this game, okay? And the weather's going to be brutal. You get gusts up to 60 miles an hour. Who's scoring, okay? But they're at home. I had the game. Sorry, I didn't write it down here, but I have it on my master list. Cleveland 20-13. Just a mismatch, and the team's not the greatest. Gabriel can't throw far. Big day for Fan, and I think Njoku's out. And so that's game 1. The second game I like is New England minus 6.5. There's still some 7s out there. I bet it at 6.5 all week. You could still find them. It's a Vrabel revenge game, okay? On one hand, you have an ascending team that's on top of the AFC East, which is unbelievable, unthinkable at this point in the season. Everybody in the free world had Buffalo up there, and I think they tied in record, but they have the tiebreaker because they beat them so far. And New England 4-2 against the spread, 6-2 against the spread the last 8 on the road. So they've actually been playing better on the road. Tennessee, if they didn't get that Arizona miracle, which they truly blew the game and gave it to them, they had a 22-6 lead, and the guy decides to flip the ball before he gets into the end zone, DeMarcado, after the guy on the Colts did it the week before. It would have been 28-6. It's game over, okay? And Vrabel has more wins in 6 games, 4, than this Callahan had in 20 games with this team. And I just got to say a note about the Tennessee management. They're lost in space. The Callahan hire, he's not a legitimate NFL coach. I didn't like the hire when they made it, and I knew it would be trouble. And then you have a guy, Vrabel, who they throw out with the garbage, got the first seed one year with Tannehill, no receivers, and just had Henry, and they're working with Malik, whatever his name, I forget his name. The guy couldn't throw a forward pass, and he was playing games when Vrabel was there. Malik Willis, and then he got better. He went to Green Bay, and he came to life for 2 games, whatever. But this is a slaughter game. You got Tennessee scores 14 points a game. Now the only thing I worry about is the new coach effect, but they don't have the talent. All these guys are dying. Pollard, Ridley. You can't put any of these people on your fantasy teams. They don't get any yards. They don't score any points. Tajay Spears come back, big deal. What's he going to do? So I think Vrabel's going to run it up. And this is a smash spot. If you look at Tennessee, 1-5 against 1-5 the last 6 games this year straight up. 3-16 against the spread the last 19. 0-10 against the spread the last 10 home games, and 1-11 straight up in the last 12. So it's just a bad team and a bad situation, a little bit of free fall. Vrabel comes in and smacks them, because he never, he's ticked off at him. And I have it New England, and May is playing tremendously. I have it New England 31-13, 34-14, something in that range. Should be the best bet of the weekend. And then the next game I'm going with is Seattle, -3. I would take it. There's 3s and 3.5s. I would take it in -3 just to be safe. It may not make a difference at 3.5, but you have a Houston team that's 2-3 against the spread, and but the only team they beat was Tennessee and Baltimore, and we've seen how bad Baltimore is. Tennessee was just telling you how bad they are. Seattle's a more tested team. The Houston O-line is Swiss cheese. They have 20 sacks, 7 interceptions. The defense is playing well. They're not giving up a lot of points. And I think Stroud's going to be running for his life. And they are home. Now, the only crazy thing is that Seattle's been playing better on the road. But I think it doesn't matter. It should be a good matchup. Houston defense is good. They don't give up a lot of points. But the Seattle has a decent run game. So if they stop the pass, I think JSN will be curtailed a little, but you're not stopping this kid. He's the number 1 receiver this year. So I still think he gets his. Houston, they're running for their life. They have no run game, and it's not a good matchup. So I have this one, not crazy. I think it goes under. Seattle 23-17, 23-14. They're the better team right now, and they should win. And moving on, let's see. I miss a page here. Yeah. I'm taking Kansas City -11.5. Now, I don't usually like to take Kansas City as a um, trying to cover a large spread. Historically, they've never done it. They're better covering under a touchdown. But they have Rashee Rice coming back. The game is in KC. The Raiders are just a bad team, and KC is ramping up, putting some wins together with some referee help. Let's be honest, okay, but you know, Vegas is scoring 17 points a game. Gino, I think, has the most turnovers in the league. He'll throw 1 or 2 picks, um, maybe 3 in this game. Spags is going to bring the heat, and you know, KC will stuff the box with Genty and say, "Go ahead and run. Go ahead, Gino, beat us." So you got Bowers out. It looks like Myers is going to be out. You know, they use Michael Meyer, the tight end. You know, he had a good last game, but you know he's kind of been a backup. And then Trey Tucker's the only guy catching anything. So Vegas 1-8 straight up their last 9 against Kansas City. Um, you know, and then I'm betting Kansas City because you have the refs on this side. Okay, you had that game against the Lions, a total disgrace. Kansas City didn't have one penalty against them early in the game. Now, I've been watching football since 1960, okay, when I was 7 years old. That's 65 years. And I had never seen in 65 years on a play that the National Football League from Park Avenue, after the play was decided and scored a touchdown on that pass play to Goff, and they scored a touchdown, 90 seconds later, Park Ave decides, oh, we can't have that. Goff didn't set himself, which he didn't, to be honest. But, however, if they don't call it on the field, it's like pass interference. If they don't call it on the field, it's not pass interference. It's the same thing with this call. They cannot call, and there's no sky judge in the NFL. So it was just pathetic. And I've never seen that they call. And it set the tone for the whole game. So you have Brian Branch be thrown out basically for what they would do. Kansas City was doing to him all game and got away with it. He gets fined. Another guy gets fined. Mahomes is taunting on his touchdown, and there was another guy that didn't get fined. So you got 2 guys from the Lions get fined. Nobody from KC gets fined, and you know it's just a joke. So if you can't beat them, join them. And so I'll just go through quickly. Now what I do is, I don't know if you could see here, I go against the people on the Game Day View on the NFL Network. I think it was 1 game ahead of them. This is just picking straight up without the spread, but I also keep the spread statistics. And so anyway, so I have all my games here. Just going through them quickly. Rams in Jacksonville and London. I think the Rams can win, but I think Jacksonville will cover. They have Puka's out, and Jacksonville does well in London. They have their own problems, but I think, the Rams may win by 1 or 2 points. Chicago against New Orleans, I'm not touching it. Chicago's at home, but you do better. It's a field goal game. I'm not touching it. Philly and Minnie, I like Philadelphia, but it's too close to call. Philly hasn't been playing well. It's in Minnesota. Philly wins by a field goal or less, I think, or they could lose. Let's see, Carolina and the Jets. It's a smell game. The Jets in the London game was brutal. Carolina should smoke them the way they've been playing. Carolina, a tremendous cover team. I think they're 10-4 against the spread. I don't think I'm going to touch it. If I bet there were some ones, I would maybe take Carolina. But the game's not right. It should be more. But Carolina doesn't play well on the road. They play better at home. Denver and the Giants. there's some 7.5. So I have Denver winning by 11, but I mean, they haven't been playing well. They're not a good cover team. They're 2-7 against the spread their last games. They should have murderized the Jets, and they were life and death. And if the guy kicked the field goal, didn't get sacked, they would have lost. So I would take the Giants with 7.5. I can't trust Denver, although they could. They have 30 sacks. This Dot kid, they could kill him. And Giants have some people out, so I'm not touching it. Green Bay and Arizona. Not touching it. Green Bay, it doesn't cover. And Brissett, if he plays, was tremendous. So, but I'm not touching it. Dallas and Washington. Debo's out. McLaren's out. They don't have the firepower. A lot of people like Washington. I would take Dallas. They're better at home. Just take the over, man. There's going to be points aplenty in this. And then C.D. Lamb's back. Another reason to pick Dallas. San Francisco and Atlanta, very close. Atlanta doesn't play well on the road. San Francisco gets the people back. It's a 1 or 2 point game. I'm not touching it. And Detroit at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay beat them last year. Detroit should kill them as they come home as a rebound for the loss. And Tampa Bay, Detroit has 3 DBs out, including Branch, who got suspended. Tampa, all they do is throw. You can't run against Tampa with Vita Vea. So if you can get 6.5, I would lead Tampa. Detroit's going to win. Tampa's been a little beat up. Detroit's going to win, but they may not cover. So that's it. I don't want to make this too long. Good luck, and we'll see you next week.